John Cleese came up and smacked me across the face, and it wasn't a stage slap either. I just waltzed out onto that stage the most confident I have ever been. I get very nervous, you can call it stage fright, when I have to be live in front of an audience. And he said, well, I can give you the cure for stage fright if you'd like. And I said, yes. And he said, are you sure? And I said, absolutely. And so it turns out a shock like that is what you need to cure yourself of stage fright. Anne-Marie asks, what fine or performing artist do you love that might really surprise us? Right now I'm listening to Orville Peck, and I actually do have kind of a soft spot for country music. Bill asks, which speakers of the Speakers series surprised or impressed you most? Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords probably stood out to me most, just because of their own interaction. She suffered quite a bit of injury when she was shot, and she can't communicate verbally as well as most people, but all she has to do is say one or two words or even give a look, and it's like speaking a paragraph to him. He completely reads her, and their relationship is something that I think we should all strive for, and I was so fortunate to have seen that up close and personal. Amy wonders, if I created art, what medium or genre do I think I'd work in? I wish that I had the facility for singing that most people have, or a lot of people have, and I would love to be a singer-songwriter, and then on a huge concert, stadium-level stage. Edwina asks, have you had an occasion when you were most touched or moved by the art you were viewing? What was most memorable for you? A few years ago, I saw a production of Harold Pinter's Betrayal on Broadway. It starred Tom Hiddleston. It was so emotional, it was so impactful. It was one of those moments where I completely forgot that I was even in a theater. Jacob wonders, how does somebody get their portrait into the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum? A few years ago, there was an artist who had a residency at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Her name is Charmaine Wheatley, and I was one of the people who sat for her, so yes, it's true, you can see my portrait. What element of the Gardner heist is intriguing enough to have you consider conducting a series of investigative reports on the theft nearly 33 years later? Well, I fixate on the person who stopped by the Gardner Museum, I think it was 1 or 2 nights prior to the theft, and came very late, was allowed into the museum, had a discussion, it seems, with someone who was working there, which suggests that it's more than coincidence that 2 days later there would be this massive theft, that there was a security guard who would allow that person in, and I just want to do a deeper dive into what that was all about. So Adam Riley asks, are your family members big fans of any of your coworkers? Adam asks that because he enjoys the story that often when I'm talking to my mom, she wants to know how Adam is doing. What was your worst ever interview? The person I regret interviewing most is Art Garfunkel, because I have never seen anybody treat people as horribly as Art Garfunkel did. He is a very, very unkind human being. What's the scariest thing you've ever done? I did a trapeze lesson at one point and I got tangled up in the trapeze, a little embarrassing. Fortunately didn't tear anything. We went up in a hot air balloon to cover a story about an artist who is basically making this big floating piece of art across Massachusetts, and it ended up that it was close to running out of fuel, so we landed, I don't think crash landing is technically the term, but maybe as close as you can get to it, in the middle of rush hour traffic. Do I frequently get recognized in public, and if so, where? I was at Wind Cave National Park in South Dakota, and someone recognized my voice in the dark, thousands of feet below the ground. What do I do to relax? I am a huge runner. I run a lot, and I love to ride horses. I grew up riding horses with my mom, and every summer I go out to a ranch in Montana and ride for a week. And to me, there is nothing greater on the planet than being at a lope on a horse. So spill the tea on one of your fellow on-air colleagues. Well, first of all, I heard what Callie Crossley had to say about me beating me and our deviled egg off. I'm just going to leave it with, she cheated. Since this series is called Get the Scoop, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? My favorite ice cream flavor is peppermint stick ice cream. And this happens to be the best Brigham's. I just love it. My grandparents had a house right near Cabot's Ice Cream in Newton, and this is all I've ever had basically my entire life. And since I can't get to Cabot's all the time, Brigham's, that was a party foul there, dropping a drip of ice cream. Brigham's peppermint stick is my favorite. Did I get on my face?